I believe it's important for you to work in the right sales industry based on your unique situation, your taste, your skill set, so that you hopefully enjoy what you're doing and you can do it for decades. The longer you do something, the more your success will compound. You'll understand the products intuitively. You'll have connections that are intimate within the industry professionally. And of course, you'll understand the current and future market trends so that you put all that together and make as much money as you possibly can. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. The top 5 sales industries to work in if you want to make as much money as possible. I personally was in software sales for 5 years and it totally transformed my life personally, professionally, financially. I now find myself living up here on the 44th floor, downtown Austin, Texas. The sun is shining bright here today. I feel good. I hope you feel good. Let's get started without further ado. I want to set the stage by saying all of these sales jobs, for the most part, will include some sort of base pay, which is a salary, that's fixed, and then a variable pay based on performance, think of that as quota, and then ultimately some sort of either bonus or incentive, maybe stock options, and this can vary based on company and situation. So that's how the comp structure works for most sales jobs. I personally worked in software sales, tech sales for 5 years, increased my income from $50,000 a year to $302,000 a year from W-2 standpoint. I've helped hundreds of people get hired into sales jobs. I've made over 1,000 videos talking about sales and career stuff. And I also have family members that have worked in these industries, and I know people personally that have worked in all these different industries. So although I'm not quoting directly from some website of some, as a matter of fact, number what you're gonna make, I can assure you that all the information is anecdotal and based on my personal understanding and actual lived experiences. So without further ado, let's get started. So in no particular order, the number 1 sales industry to work in, if you want to break the bank, is software sales, tech sales. As I said, that's where I began my career, 2018, right out of college, entry-level sales development rep. Worked my way up to a senior account executive, 6 promotions, 60,000 cold calls. I did it the long way, I did it the hard way, I did it the right way. And the reason why I personally enjoyed working in the technology industry is because these tech companies tend to be progressive from a cultural standpoint. They have great perks, ping pong tables in offices, catered lunches. Many of them are at the forefront of working remotely because when you're selling some abstract software, it's up in the clouds. You can work with anyone and just say, the click of a button and the signing of my contract for $50,000 a year, recurring revenue, as a matter of fact, we'll turn on the software program right now. So I found it to be incredibly meaningful and fulfilling to sell software for a living. I enjoyed it. And I believe that technology is what is happening right now and clearly what's happening in the future. Every company is a tech company, no matter how you look at it. So all these other 4 industries I'm talking about, they all use sales technology to make their reps better, make their companies better. So why not just sell the sales tech? Because clearly that's not going away anytime soon, if at all ever. The number 2 sales industry to work in is pharmaceutical sales. This is basically selling drugs. So what comes to mind for me, and I've never actually done this, but I knew a guy who did it. He had a company car, he drove around, and it's a bit more old school, meaning you're probably gonna have to go on site. You're gonna drive up in your company car, in your nice polo, like what I'm wearing here today, and you're gonna walk into the doctor's office and you're gonna say, hey, we have this new pill that's gonna change everyone's lives. Okay, so how's it different from the pill we're offering them now? That's a little questionable, but hey, let me take you out to lunch and let's do a deal. It's very much old school, very much personal relationships, but healthcare, pretty important. Everyone needs that. And think about the Sackler family, Purdue Pharma, with this opiate crisis thing we have. There's a lot of drug problems out there, and it stems from the pharmaceutical industry because these products are so powerful. So if you're selling them, clearly it has the ability to change people's lives. So there's a lot of money at stake, and it actually really matters. So maybe you'll find a bit more fulfilling selling drugs and medicines that actually can really benefit people rather than just totally destroy their lives, like opiates and painkillers. But I think it would be cool, and I know that those guys make a ton of money. They make a lot of money. The third sales industry to work in, to break the bank officially, overflow, is going to be being a realtor. So I know realtors, I know friends of mine's parents that just all of a sudden in their 40s, 50s, oh, I'll be a realtor. You can really be a weekend hero in this business because you can just go get your license and then just start selling houses. I believe the average realtor sells about 3 houses a year. So I feel like those are a lot of the hobbyists. So if you're gonna do it, it's probably really important to go all in. I know people who started at age 18, just never went to college and just started hustling. And it's probably the best profession to do that because you really do control your own destiny. You'll probably work for some sort of brokerage, so there's some structure, some resources, maybe they'll help you with marketing, making videos, maybe they have client lists that you can then send emails out to sell houses. But I've went on house visits to rent, and even I was considering buying at one point, so I work with realtors. They set their own hours. It's very much an on-site job because you gotta be in the houses to sell the houses for the most part. Maybe you could come up with some sales tech to not be in the house but still sell the house. That'd probably be pretty interesting. But bottom line, you control your own destiny. There's not as much structure as a big corporation because I know a lot of realtors don't necessarily get salaries or fixed base pay. So high risk, high reward, you're your own boss, and if you think that is the right environment for you and you like real estate, then being a realtor would probably be cool. I think it's interesting. I mean, if you think about the base level of human needs, it's survival. When I recently moved to Austin, Texas, I didn't have living figured out. I didn't have a mattress. I literally had an Airbnb for a week and had to go figure out living. And when you don't have living figured out, it's pretty hard to worry about health, relationships, making money. So if you can solve that problem for people, your job's always gonna be in demand. And keep in mind as well, guys, the skill set for any of these sales jobs will really translate to all of the sales jobs. So all of them, also keep in mind, you're gonna be able to make over 6 figures so long as you're in it for at least 2 to 3 years. But if you can be in it for 20 to 30 years, 2-3 decades, that's when you'll have a few years where you really make a ton of money. The fourth sales industry to make a lot of money is gonna be medical device sales. This is actually what my dad did early on before he started our family business. He used to sell medical devices. So think about this as it could be canes, it could be a breathalyzer if you got some breathing issues. It could be augmentations, if you know what I'm talking about up here, plastic cosmetology procedures. I knew a girl actually in Dallas who sold breast implants. She had a personal assistant and it seemed like a pretty cool job. She wasn't working too hard, and I know she made a ton of money, I think 140 grand a year, something like that. It fluctuates. But when you're selling medical devices, similar to pharmaceuticals, you're in healthcare. It's also life-altering, never going away, incredibly transformative to people's lives, and very much on-site, traveling around, going to hospitals, going to doctors' offices, and taking them the latest and greatest of what's available so that they can then use that to help their patients, to put in people's bodies. So there's actually a lot at stake here. So I would say if you're in it totally for the money, maybe not healthcare, you could probably go software tech or the fifth and final sales industry I'm about to mention. But bottom line, I know medical devices is really lucrative. We're actually doing some of that as well at our family business, and we're trying to build that out. So I'm also learning it firsthand. And it's really much a volume game or less volume, but those items need to be really high in price. So there's a lot of different pricing dynamics there based on what you're selling and the utility of it, what outcome does it produce. But medical device is also very interesting. And the fifth and final sales industry to consider is actually being a sales engineer. This is adjacent to tech sales, software sales. If you're working in tech sales, software sales as a sales rep, individual contributor, you're gonna have a quota. It's gonna be high pressure, high stress. You'll start as a sales development rep, business development rep, become an account executive, hopefully become an enterprise account executive. The bigger deals you'll sell, you start bringing in what's called a sales engineer onto these meetings. And this is basically someone that is similar to sales in which they're customer facing, but they're specialized in running demos. So they're more technical. They really understand the product and how to explain things in a comprehensive way, to ask probing questions. So it's very much a complementary role to tech sales that's not as high pressure. it is lower paying because you're not directly responsible for revenue, although you play a meaningful role in it, so it's still very important. But I know that a lot of people like to start in tech sales, software sales as an SDR, BDR, and if they just don't like, hey, sales for me, if it's not for them, then they can stay within that company and then pivot to being a sales engineer. And I think that's pretty interesting for a lot of people. So if you're sitting there wondering, well, hey, I want to be like Trent. I want to be sitting at the pool in the sun with a big tan, making videos like him, talking about sales. If you want to get in tech sales, software sales, I absolutely can help. I am the tech sales instructor at Course Careers, where I put together the most comprehensive course available on the entire internet, 17 hours of training material, over 10,000 students in 2023 alone, verified, and roughly, round up, 1,000 people have gone through this program and gotten hired. Folks without degrees, folks without connections, without any sort of sales experience, gone from, hey, I really got to make a change in my life. If they can do it, I can do it. I want better for myself and my family, to overnight, 1 to 3 months and a lot of work, landing a 6-figure tech job. And that's exactly what we teach you within Course Careers. I have linked the free intro course down below. I put a lot into the free intro course. I think you'll find value from it regardless if you want to sign up or not. But if you do decide to sign up, my link also includes a $50 registration code. So message me on LinkedIn directly. Connect with me if you haven't already, if you have any questions, or you just want to say what's up if you found this video useful. And of course, hit the thumbs up button now and subscribe to the channel because it really helps. And hopefully other aspiring and current sales professionals can see this information and it can improve their life for the better. Thanks so much for watching here today. Talk to you in the next video. Bye.